friends, welcome to your Wednesday ELA lesson. If you are watching this, technically you are in the future because I am in the past. It's crazy how life works. I am your teacher, Miss Smith, in case you forgot. How could you forget such a wonderful teacher like me? All right, anywhoozle. This is your warm-up. Read the text message from BFF. And answer the question, what changes should be made in the second text? So you're looking at this text box right here. What changes should be made while you're doing that? Just in case you forgot, once again, like I told you all this 3 seconds ago, I'm your teacher, Miss Smith. My email is tsmith@lsoa.org. My number is 682-777-9474. It is Wednesday, January 31st, 2024. If you need me, give me a ring. Give me an email. I'm only one call, email away. I'm here to save the day. And maybe not today or tomorrow, however that goes. I'm out of office today or tomorrow. If technically tomorrow is today, because it's Wednesday. So check your answer. We're going to pause it really quick while I let you answer your question. So what answer did you get? So we're looking at that second text. So I did. Serena definitely is Serena is definitely the quick girl on the whole team. Which one did you choose? Is it A, Serena, change Serena, capital S, to lowercase s, B, change quick to quickest, C, change whole, WHOLE, to whole, HOLE, or D, change girl, lowercase g, to girl, uppercase G? Which one is it? You said B. You are correct. We're going to change quick to quickest. Serena is the quickest. It means out of every girl on the team, there's no girl who is more quicker. There's no girl faster. She is the quickest, the fastest on the team. I am not that well. I don't do well with that. And that's what I've been teaching all day. So today we are still continuing to use our knowledge of central idea to determine the reasons why an author writes a passage. We are doing this so we can determine the purpose of the passage. Is it to persuade, inform, entertain, and the message the author is trying to explain? We know we've got it if we can prove the author's purpose and the message by analyzing, that's going back, really diving in deep and looking at that passage, right? Analyzing the passage and then citing our evidence, looking at those details to support our answer. We have some vocabulary words we need to go over. Our first one is author's purpose. The author's purpose is the reason why an author writes a passage. Persuade, it is to try and convince someone to do or believe something. We can think about it like we want to persuade our parents to let us go to our best friend's house. Well, how are we going to do that? I promise I will clean all of the dirty dishes for a month. Just let me go to my best friend's house for like 30 minutes. Are we really going to clean all the dirty dishes for a month just so we can go to our best friend's house for 30 minutes? Probably not. But are we going to try and convince them? Yes, because we want to go to our best friend's house. So we're going to try and persuade them, try to convince them. Inform, to provide facts about a topic. So informing it, when we think about information books, it, like the example is showing like an information book about pandas. It could be information about the founding of a country. It could be information about how to bake a cake. information about the invention of a bicycle. Informing is just giving information. And lastly, entertain. And remember, entertaining is it's really like that tricky one. Because when we think about entertaining, our brains can really get stuck on like entertain has to be funny. Yes, we want to be entertained. We want to laugh. Like a cartoon is funny, but entertain does not have to be funny. Entertain means to provide enjoyment or to hold our attention, to keep us distracted. Like Isaiah said, a video game keeps us distracted. So entertain, yes, it provides enjoyment. It can be funny, but it can also hold our attention. It can keep us distracted. So when we think about entertain, it does not have to be, oh my goodness, that's so funny. It can also hold our attention. It can keep us distracted. So, author's purpose. All writers have a reason for writing. It's like they are building a building. So while they're building their building, like an architect has a reason for building a building, an author has a reason for writing his or her passage, his or her book. So when we want to identify the reason for why the author wrote something, we need to start by thinking about what is the central idea or the main idea of the text. Ask ourselves, what is this all about? What does the author want us to think? What does the author want us to feel? What does the author want us to know or learn while we are reading this? There are some good questions we can always ask ourselves when we are doing this. Does the story have a strong theme or moral lesson that we can learn? Usually when that is the case, that when that is the case, when when there's a strong lesson, there's a strong moral, there's a strong theme, the purpose is going to be entertain. If it is nonfiction, if it's a nonfiction text that explains a topic to us, it is informed. If the author is trying to persuade us to think a certain way or to take action, we need to recycle. We need to save the whales. We need to recycle. We need what are those called? Like the soda cans, the Coke cans, and those little plastic rings on the Coke cans. You know what I'm talking about? I don't have Coke cans. But you know what I'm talking about? The plastic rings on the Coke cans. Next class, I will have some. I'm going tomorrow. I will go buy Coke cans just to get the plastic rings. When I was your age, all I heard about in school was you need to cut the plastic rings on the Coke cans. Why? Because birds, turtles, and dolphins were getting caught in all the plastic rings from the Coke cans. Guess what Miss Smith still does to this day? If she ever buys Coke cans with the plastic rings on them, she cuts the plastic rings. I don't know if they still get caught in them. I don't know if they ever got caught in them, really. I don't know. But that's all I heard when I was at your age in elementary school was the birds, the turtles, and the dolphins were getting caught in all the plastic rings. It made a lasting impact on Miss Smith. To this day, if I buy Coke cans, and it doesn't have to be Coke, it could be Pepsi, it could be Sprite, Mountain Dew, ginger ale. I don't drink soda. But if I did, the kids, if they drink it, if they buy it, we're cutting the plastic rings. Why? Because someone persuaded Miss Smith in commercials and in books and in passages that little dolphins and little birds and turtles were getting caught in those. So when an author is trying to persuade you to think a certain way or to take an action, it's persuade. If an author is trying to teach us something, how to bake a cake, how not to burn a cake, how to sing, what are we doing? It's inform. If it's a funny story or a poem meant to entertain us, entertain, it's right there in the word. So basically, what an author is trying to accomplish, think about that. What is an author trying to accomplish by writing this? If anything, while we are reading a passage, if we can just keep asking ourselves, what is the author trying to do by writing this? Why is the author doing this? We keep asking ourselves that, we can start identifying the author's purpose. Are we trying to be persuaded to do something? Is the author trying to teach me something? Is the author trying to entertain me? And then we can move on, which we're going to do right now. We've been working on becoming star readers. Remember, and this is just a tool for your reading toolbox. It may not work for all of you. You may not like this strategy, but just like with building anything, if you're building a bike and you're like, I don't need a hammer while I'm building a bike, but I might need a screwdriver. Oh, I broke this screwdriver. Here's another one. It's just another tool in your toolbox, okay? Some tools work better than others for different people. Let's learn how to use this tool. We start by scanning the questions. We've done that 2 days. We scanned the questions for this passage. Then we target read. We've done that 2 days. You're gonna target read again today. The first target read was Monday. When we target read, you are identifying, you've read the questions for the first time. You're looking now at all of those questions again to see. You're reading the passage to see, okay, do I see any of these quick answers like, oh, I think I see where this answer might be. Now, when I go back to answer, I can quickly find that. Do I see any text features? Do I see any bolded words? Do I see any highlighted words? Do I see any underlined words? Do I see any words that I don't know that I need to identify right now that will help me later on to answer these questions? That's what target reading is. It's helping you identify where question answers might be that you can answer later on. It's helping you to identify any keywords, but it's also helping you to identify any words you don't know that you need to work through right now so that you can read the passage when you're actively reading, when you're actively engaged, when you're underlining things, when you are taking those mental notes. Then A, you're analyzing, is this fiction or nonfiction? If it's fiction, there are those two types. Realistic fiction, that's when the story is just like it's happening in real life. Is it fantasy fiction? Both of those are going to have a setting, they're going to have characters, they're going to have a problem and a solution. If they're not a fiction, it's going to be nonfiction. Ask yourself the who, the what, the when, the where, and the why. Then we go to the second A. You're actively going to read this passage again, where the first time when you're targeting the text, you're reading that text, but you're not like diving deep. You're just like quickly scan reading. It's like a quick read. This time you're like diving in. You're reading. It's a deep read. You're reading to find the answers, where you can go in and find the answers, so that if Miss Smith, if Miss Henderson, our principal, Miss Brever, our assistant principal, came in and they said, all right, what is the answer to this passage? And then tell me why. Go back in the passage and show me where you found this answer, and then tell me why you think it's the answer. You can be like, here, and here is my answer. Here's why I think this. You can make an inference. You can explain your thought process. And you can make bing, bing, bada boom, moving on. That's what an active reader does. You guys have been great at that. You've been highlighting. You've been underlining. Like, I know when you're active reading, and I know when you're like just staring blankly at a screen. It makes a difference. Or when you're highlighting the whole passage, I can see it makes a difference. I know the difference between the two. I can see the difference. And I can also see and hear the difference in your explanations. And then lastly, R, respond to the questions. Once you have done STAA, you're going to answer the questions. Some of those questions, they're going to be really quick. Like, oh, it's A, it's B. Others, you're going to have to write a response to. Today, you're going to have to write a response to those questions. So here we go. So you're going to have, I did, because of brain hiccup, I did turn the timer off. I do want you to all read, but I did turn the timer off. I also put in the questions, so if you want to go and look for all of these, you can, but the timer has been turned off. The goal is at least 3.5 minutes per slide. I mean, you guys were doing it within 2 minutes, which is great. Our goal is to get through the entire passage within 5 minutes, like being an active reader. But I did turn the timer off since you're doing this whole thing on your own today. And then, so once again, here is the questions for for the entire passage. But the questions are on each of these slides. So you'll see that. So read your entire passage again. Remember, you're looking for the answers. Be an active reader. If you find the answers, underline it, highlight it, circle it. Once you're done, we have answered, I think I might delete these because we have answered these. The first 4, I might go back and go ahead and delete these. All right, so sorry, brain hiccup. So I might delete those other 2 just because they are, major brain hiccup. We have already answered those. So you need to answer these 2 questions. What happens to the snake at the end of the story? And what is the message of the passage? So what message is the author trying to get across in this passage? Look at that. Remember, when we were scanning the questions at the beginning, and we said that was one of those questions that really was an entire passage question. So this one is really like one of those entire like you're going to have to think back over the entire passage to really answer this question. So what was the message the author is trying to get across? One quick second. So when you're thinking about the message, it's kind of like the central idea. So the central idea, the message, like what is that one thing that the author is really just trying to like get through the entire story? And then we come to our last question. So this is that extended response question. We're going to spend a few more minutes right here. What lesson can be learned from that message? Sorry, my nose. So whatever you think that message is, it could be, we're going to pick one of the answer choices. Let's see. We're going to pick animals should live in harmony with each other. That's what I'm going to say. What lesson can we learn from the message? So I think that the message was animals should live in harmony with each other. Now, do I think I should learn to live in harmony with animals? Maybe, but I could probably apply that a little bit deeper and be like, I could learn to live in harmony with my siblings. And harmony is like in peace. So we're going to restate the question. The lesson we can learn from this from the message is, so restate the question. So that's the first part. You restate the question. Hang on. Okay, sorry, I deleted the first one, so I had to retype it. Didn't want y'all to have to sit there while I did that. So the lesson we can learn from the message is, and what did I say? Animals can learn to live in harmony. Well, remember, something we can learn is, I can learn to live in harmony or learn to live in peace with my siblings, with my brother, with my sisters. I can learn to live in harmony with my, we'll say family. And then you need to go back in the passage and find where you got that answer. In line, say 72. There weren't 72 lines. It said cat, dog, bird. Because we're getting tired. But go back, find your answer. We'll just say it said, go back, find what it said about living in harmony. Also, in line 150, it said something else about why you think that the message that was learned was living in harmony and why we can apply that message as a lesson. Once you do that, explain your answer. Why is it good to live in harmony, in peace with your siblings? When I live in with my family, everything goes a lot smoother than when we argue and fight. So that is how I would respond. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, that's not the message. So that wouldn't be the lesson I would learn. So don't mark that as the message. Go back and read. Think about what the message that went through the entire story. It weaves its way through. You can also look through it. I think the lesson learned. Here's another example of how you could do that. You will have this passage right. You can use the, you have it right here. Type your answer. Finally, you have your exit ticket. Yes, I know. If you know, you know. I know. Just do it. I put the wrong one. But, you know the answer, just mark it. Any hoozle. I will see you Gators on Thursday. Do not forget to do your work. Just because Miss Smith is out of office does not mean that you do not have work to do. So get it done. I love you all. I miss you already, especially since there was a major glitch in the OLS and a lot of you guys didn't get to do any work today and I didn't see you in class. So I miss you all. And I'll see you on Thursday. Hasta la pasta, my doodle bops. Bye for now.